students, this is 12th class biology, chapter 11, biotechnology principles and processes, and this is lecture number 5. We'll discuss about these processes of recombinant DNA technology, that is gel electrophoresis, polymerase chain reaction for amplification of DNA, and obtaining foreign gene product. Let's start. This is a process of recombinant DNA technology. First process, that is isolation of genetic material, we have done in previous lecture, and after that isolation, after the isolation, cutting of DNA will be done at specific locations. Okay, so purified DNA that we have isolated is incubated with the restriction enzymes, because you know restriction enzyme will cut the DNA at specific location, right? So it is incubated with restriction enzyme. As a result, DNA digest, means restriction enzyme will make the fragments of DNA. Okay, that is called digestion of DNA. Now DNA fragments are separated by a technique that is called gel electrophoresis. So we will do about this technique now for the separation of DNA fragments. So in gel electrophoresis, agarose gel is used. Okay, agarose gel electrophoresis is employed to check the progression of a restriction enzyme digestion. So this is a technique by which we can use, check that restriction enzyme is doing its work or not. That enzyme is actually digested due to action of restriction enzyme or not. Okay, so what is done here, you can see here, this is DNA, and when we incubate it with restriction enzyme, fragments like this are formed, right? And with the help of gel electrophoresis, we just check these fragments, right? And because agarose gel we are using here, that's why this technique is called agarose gel electrophoresis. Now let's see what is done in this technique. As you know, DNA is negatively charged because phosphate group is present here in DNA, right? That's why DNA is negatively charged. So it moves towards the anode. As you know, there are 2 points, cathode and anode. Cathode is having cathode is having negative charge, and anode is having positive charge. Because DNA is negatively charged, so it moves towards the positive charge, means it moves towards the anode, right? Now DNA fragments are separated according to their size through sieving effect of agarose gel, that is polymer from seaweeds. From where we are getting the agarose gel? From seaweeds. Okay, so this agarose gel is a type of polymer obtained from seaweeds, and here you can see this is a plate which we use for this gel electrophoresis, right? And here at this point there is anode, positive charge, and this on this side there is cathode. As you can see here also, this is cathode having negative charge, and this is anode having positive charge, right? This is same plate. Okay, here what is done, these are wells in this plate, and here DNA is loaded. DNA is filled in these wells, right? And when DNA moves towards the anode on the basis of size, so smaller sized fragments move farther. So when DNA will start moving from here, it will move towards the anode, means towards the positive charge. The smaller sized fragments of DNA will move farther. So here the smallest size fragments you will get here. These are wells here, and these are moving fragments of DNA, and these are smallest size fragments of DNA. The process is repeated with the vector DNA also. So we do this gel electrophoresis first with the foreign piece of DNA, the DNA that we have isolated. Okay, and after that the same process is done with vector DNA also, because we cut that vector DNA also with the restriction enzyme, and we need to check the progression of that also, right? So with the vector DNA also this process is repeated. Here you can see this is gel electrophoresis showing migration of undigested, that is lane 1. In lane 1 this is undigested DNA, undigested on which that restriction enzyme has not worked. Okay, so in first lane, in first well, we just fill the DNA that is not incubated with restriction enzyme. Okay, for just for you can say a sample. Okay, and all these other lanes 2, 3, 4, these are representing digested DNA. Okay, so in these wells we fill the DNA which is incubated with restriction enzyme, means the digested DNA, right? So the digested set of DNA fragments lane 2, 3 and 4. This diagram you need to make, you just make this plate in which you need to make these 4 wells, and you need to show positive charge here, negative charge here, and these different fragments of DNA. Now DNA fragments can be seen as bright orange colored bands when they are stained with ethidium bromide. Okay, when we fill these wells with DNA, before that we stain the DNA with ethidium bromide, and these ethidium bromide stained DNA, when these are exposed to UV radiation, we can see these DNA fragments like this. Now DNA bands are cut from the agarose gel. Okay, once we have seen these fragments of DNA, what is done? These bands are cut from the agarose gel, and this process is called elution. The cut out gene of interest, or you can say the DNA, from source DNA and cut vector are mixed and ligase is added. Okay, so gene of interest, that foreign piece of DNA, and vector, these are mixed and ligase is added with them, because we need to attach our gene of interest with the vector, right? So ligase is added here, and it creates recombinant DNA. So you can see here, first of all, what is this? This is agarose plate, right? So first of all, elution will be done. For elution, we need to cut the bands of DNA from here. Okay, and after that, you can see here, this is vector DNA and this is foreign piece of DNA. So both are mixed with ligase, and this ligase will work here, and you can see these sticky ends here, and these will be joined like this to make a recombinant DNA. This next step that we need to do is amplification of gene of interest. Amplification means making multiple copies of any sequence of DNA. Okay, so here multiple copies of gene of interest are made using a technique called PCR, that is polymerase chain reaction. So it is the technique to synthesize multiple copies of the gene of interest in vitro, means in laboratory, using 2 sets of primers. These are chemically synthesized oligonucleotides. Okay, you have studied about it in molecular basis of inheritance also. Those are used during DNA replication. Okay, and other than these primers, DNA polymerase enzyme is also required here, right? So these are required here in laboratory to synthesize multiple copies of DNA. So oligonucleotides are obviously complementary to the region of DNA, and this is the PCR machine. PCR machine, or thermal cycler, you can say, in which this DNA sample, gene of interest, is used to make multiple copies. Now these are steps of PCR. First, denaturation, second, annealing, and third, extension. Let's do about these steps now. These are steps of PCR. First step is denaturation. In denaturation, heating of target DNA is done at very high temperature, like 94 degrees Celsius temperature is set in PCR machine. Due to that temperature, hydrogen bonds between the nitrogen bases of these 2 strands of DNA will break, and these 2 strands of DNA will get separate. like you can see here. And the separation of these two strands at high temperature is called denaturation of DNA. Now these two strands will act like template for synthesizing new DNA. Okay, both the strands will act like template now. Now next step is done, that is annealing, and for this step temperature is kept a little bit lower. That temperature is kept 52 degrees Celsius to 55 degrees Celsius here in annealing step. And at this temperature these primers, these are small oligonucleotide sequences. Okay, so these primers will get attached with the template strands of DNA, right? So this after annealing, next step will be extension or polymerization, and here at this step enzyme DNA polymerase works for the formation of new strand of DNA, right? And a specific type of DNA polymerase is used here. Name of that DNA polymerase is Taq polymerase. Now this Taq polymerase is a specific type of DNA polymerase which can resist very high temperature. Okay, because during the denaturation step we are keeping very high temperature, so this Taq polymerase can resist that temperature. And this Taq polymerase enzyme we are getting from a bacterium, Archaebacterium. Okay, that is name of that bacterium is Thermus aquaticus. Okay, from that bacterium this Taq polymerase is isolated for this polymerization step of PCR, right? So Taq polymerase and also some deoxynucleotides are added here in the machine, because by using these deoxynucleotides only this Taq polymerase can synthesize a new strand of DNA, right? This deoxynucleotides are as a raw material here for synthesizing a new strand of DNA, right? So here by using this deoxynucleotide, Taq polymerase will synthesize new strands of DNA, and this step is called extension or polymerization. Through continuous replication, the DNA segment is amplified up to 1 billion copies. Okay, it is amplified up to 1 billion times. The amplified fragment can be used to ligate with a vector for further cloning. So like this, like in 30 cycles it can be amplified 1 billion times. So these are all the steps of PCR. Now you can see PCR at a glance. So here these are the components which we need for the PCR. DNA sample first of all we need, then we need oligonucleotide primers, also deoxynucleotides we need as a raw material for synthesizing new strand of DNA. Then we need a Taq polymerase that we isolate from the Thermus aquaticus. Then mix buffer for maintaining the pH, and this is tube in which these samples are taken. Okay, and this is thermal cycler PCR machine. Okay, all these things we need, and these are all the steps of PCR. First denaturation at 95 or 94 to 96 degrees Celsius we can do it. Then annealing step is done at 52 to 55 degrees Celsius where primer binding takes place. Then extension polymerization step, this step is done at 72 degrees Celsius. Okay, and here synthesis of new strand takes place. After amplification of DNA, next step that need to be done is insertion of recombinant DNA into host cell or organism. So there are several methods of introducing the ligated DNA into recipient cell that we have discussed already. Okay, gene gun method, making cell competent by CaCl2 treatment, or by a disarmed pathogen method. So there are different methods for introducing that DNA into host cell. Okay, so recipient cells after making competent to receive to take up the DNA in the surrounding, it is done. And if a recombinant DNA bearing ampicillin resistant gene is transferred into E. coli cells, the host cells become ampicillin resistant cells, right? If the recombinant DNA is having this resistant gene, then obviously the host cell will become resistant to ampicillin. And if the transformed cells are spread on agar plates. Agar plate is a nutrient medium for the host cell. Okay, so if these are spread on the agar plates containing ampicillin, only transformants will grow, and untransformed recipients cells will die, because these untransformed recipient cells will not have that resistant power to ampicillin. Okay, so only the transformants will grow, because those have got the resistant power due to this recombinant DNA, right? So here you can see the recombinant plasmid, it has been transformed in this cell. So this is transformed cell, this is non-transformed cell. No plasmid is present here in this non-transformed cell. So while we will grow it on the ampicillin containing medium, only the transformants will grow. After transformation, next step is to obtain the foreign gene product. So the ultimate aim of recombinant DNA technology is to produce a desirable protein. Okay, what is the ultimate aim? For what we are doing this complete technology, recombinant DNA technology, to get the desirable protein. Okay, that foreign piece of DNA that we are taking, that we are isolating, amplifying, and then transferring it into the host cell. For what we are doing that? To get the desirable protein, because that foreign piece of DNA is coding for a particular protein that we need. Okay, so here in this step it is about the obtaining the foreign gene product. So if a protein encoding foreign gene, foreign piece of DNA you can say, okay, is expressed in a heterologous host, it is called recombinant protein. Heterologous host means the host or the cell or the organism you can say that is not related to that foreign piece of DNA. Okay, so this foreign piece of DNA is not related to this host. So in this case we are saying it heterologous host. Okay, a different host. So in if any foreign gene is expressed in heterologous host, that protein is called recombinant protein, right? Here you can see how this recombinant protein is formed. Like this is target gene. Okay, here we have made, because expression plasmid means the target gene has been introduced in a plasmid. So recombinant plasmids have been formed here, and when these plasmids express, like here mammalian cell expression, insect cell expression, yeast expression, prokaryotic expression in any cell, if these are expressing, if these are what is meaning of expression? Formation of protein. Okay, how a gene can express itself? By formation of protein. So expression means formation of protein. So that type of protein is called recombinant protein, or you can say the protein that has been formed in a host cell from a foreign gene. Okay, simply you can say that protein is called recombinant protein. So how will you define a recombinant protein? Foreign gene expressed in a heterologous host. Now, cells with foreign genes can be grown in laboratory. The cultures are used to extract desired protein and purify it by using separation techniques. So different separation techniques are used here to extract the desired protein from those host cells. The cells can also be multiplied in a continuous culture system. Like there is a system for multiplication of those host cell also, so that we can get more and more copies of our proteins. Okay, so here the used medium is drained out from one side while the fresh medium is added from the other side. So what we are doing here, a culture system is made in the laboratory in which we are keeping the bacterial cells. Okay, and the medium we are giving, the nutrient medium we are giving those bacteria to those bacterial cells for their growth. Okay, and the used medium is drained out from one side and the fresh medium is added from the other side. Those kind of machines are used here. It maintains the cells more physiologically active and so produces a larger biomass, and it yields more desired proteins. So about these methods, about these cultures, continuous culture systems, we will do in next lecture, that how we culture these bacterial cells for obtaining the foreign gene product. For today, your homework is NCERT question number 1 and 11, and also practice the PCR, all the steps of PCR. Now let's discuss homework solution of previous lecture. This is question number 2 of NCERT. You need to make a chart showing a restriction enzyme, the substrate DNA on which it acts, and the site at which it cuts the DNA and the product it produces. So you need to make a chart here, a diagram. This diagram is given in your NCERT book also. Here action of restriction enzyme EcoR1 is shown. Okay, so this is target DNA, this one is target DNA, foreign DNA, this is vector DNA, and enzyme EcoR1 cuts at a specific palindromic sequence that is GAA-TTC, and it always cut between G and A. Okay, so these are the sequence where this EcoR1 will cut the target DNA as well as the vector DNA. So these sticky ends are produced like this, and these sticky ends can be joined with each other by using ligase enzyme, and then a recombinant DNA is formed. Next question is NCERT question number 9, and it is, can you think and answer how a reporter enzyme can be used to monitor transformation of host cells by foreign DNA in addition to a selectable marker? So here you need to explain about the insertional activation using the inactivation of the gene for enzyme beta-galactosidase. Okay, so to monitor the transformation of host cell by foreign DNA, a reporter gene can be used, reporter enzyme, because that gene codes for the enzyme. Okay, so reporter enzyme can be used here. They serve as selectable marker to find out if the host cell has used up the foreign DNA, else the foreign gene is expressed in the cell. Okay, so the reporter gene and the foreign gene are placed by scientists in the same DNA construct here. Reporter gene means the gene responsible for the formation of that enzyme beta-galactosidase. Okay, you can say the reporter enzyme and the foreign piece of DNA are placed in same DNA construct. And what is that DNA construct? A plasmid DNA, a vector DNA. Okay, so these are placed in same DNA construct. What is done here? This collective DNA construct means that vector having foreign piece of DNA and also gene for beta-galactosidase is introduced into the cell where the reporter gene is used as a selectable marker, right? So this vector is introduced into the host cell, and that reporter gene means the gene for beta-galactosidase works as a selectable marker there, okay, to discover the successful uptake of foreign genes or the genes of interest. In a jellyfish, LecJet gene is an example of reporter gene that encodes for a green fluorescent protein. So here you can explain that example of beta-galactosidase enzyme also. Okay, that is given in your NCERT book. So in this question you can explain that paragraph also.